Hi, welcome to the 20th Both Cameroonian Arts Award on set. With me are the nominees of Best Choreographer in Mixed Bill in Dance. We have Shan Tie, Raziman, and Chi Ying with us. How did you get into the arts? What motivates you to work in this industry? Because it is a tough industry. Dance, we use our body, it's very physical. There is some people say there's an age limit, but I doubt it. But what motivate you to keep in this industry?
For me, I started in this industry. It's very late during my years. So I started when I was 19 years old. So before this, I was not a dancer, and I was a robotic son. I was an athlete, and then suddenly I was shouting cannons like, boom! Why don't I become a dancer? Because they look stunning and amazing, so very inspiring. So from that, I wanted to be a dancer and never have a train before. And then I find out like, is there any university in Malaysia or any academy in Malaysia that I can find or study dance more deeply, seriously, from 0 to 100 maybe. So yeah, I found that Aswara. So I went to Aswara. So from Aswara, my career as a dancer has begun. So what motivated me for your second question? So what motivated me to keep working into this industry, even though this industry is very difficult, everybody knows this. Yeah, it's very hard. It's very competitive. Yeah, it is very competitive. But again, it's not something that pays you well in terms of like financially. So again, this industry required a lot of passion. If you have passion, motivation, working on your craft, which is like your dance, working on your arts, I think from that, and then what's your goal, you have motivation that you wanted to put in, like, okay, this is my goal, this is what I want to do in the past, in another 5 years or like in the future. Yeah, you can go into it. So that's, with the craft that you have in your body, I'm speaking for me, with the craft that I have in my body as a dancer that I've been trained for 14 years now. So I don't want to just keep it very faded just like that.
So I don't want to let it go.
I don't want to let it go. I just want to keep going because we've been working it so hard for the past like 10, 14 years, right? Yeah. So for me, like just working something new, keep inspiring people, just love what I'm doing. So I think that's motivate me. Working, create motivation, for me, inspiring current generation, new generations.
What about you, Chin?
I found that because I'm still quite new in this choreography journey, I used to be a dancer a lot, I perform a lot, but choreography is always a part that I'm struggle with, and I not dare to touch it because I found that choreography needs talent. It's not about a formula, there's no format there. So I do think myself is quite a rigid person. So I'm not the kind of creative person to create something.
But you are a creative person. You're a dancer.
Thank you. So I think only just about 2 years I'm starting to create things. So I find that dance really has little limitations in terms of creativities and imaginations. The only limitations is ourselves. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that. Not happy, like I found safe that dance offers so many space for us to play with. Yeah, so for as a choreographer, I think this is the motivation I get to keep creating things.
Wow, that's great. I'm can't wait to see what more that you are going to show us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So for me, as of how I got into the dance industry, I started off actually cheerleading in high school. But then I was really fond of the dancing part of cheerleading. So that's led me to pursue dancing as to further education. And then I continued it into a career. And as for in the choreography side, similar to Chi Ying, I'm way more newer than Chi Ying, actually really much more fresher than her. But my whole intention was actually to try. Because even in my years in Aswara, I was always very, very scared to try because I was so intimidated by being judged because obviously in Aswara, in an institution, you will have to be assessed for almost everything you do. And I dreaded that. I was really afraid of being assessed. So I avoided sending any choreographies. But now that I'm outside of Aswara, the only judgment, like what Chi Ying said, is yourself. So then I have to sort of learn to give and take myself, to try and give myself a chance to sort of try and see where I can go choreography-wise.
Wasn't choreography part of your syllabus when you were at Aswara?
Yes.
Yeah, there is choreography part syllabus. Actually, like during diploma, the choreography, we have like first year improvisation, second year is composition, and then the third year is like choreography.
Yeah.
So actually dance is like this. Some dancer, when they started dancing, right? Oh, I want to be, they know already they wanted to be a choreographer. Me, I'm a dancer first, choreographer second. I think,
Same.
it's very interesting. Like when they say like, oh, it's very relatable because I started choreography very late too. Like when I was graduated from Aswara actually, and then I start to like, berjinak-jinak into choreography. And I find it is very, actually fun. Yeah, it's very fun. So you started to believe in yourself because before that, when you dancing for others, usually you are a dancer. So you are not inspiration. You melahirkan whatever the choreographer wants, right?
You are a utensil. You
Exactly.
are a vessel,
Yeah, a
for
vessel
them to
for
put
them
their
to-
talent
yes.
in. Okay.
Yeah, but if you are a choreographer, actually, you are more flexible. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Oh, let's reverse and reflect, and then actually, if we do something else, it's gonna look like this. So there's like more option, right? So even though you are sometimes when we're choreographing, we are relying on the teams that we work on, but it doesn't matter that if you are away from the teams but coming it later on. Also, it's fine because again, it's a room for us to be creative.
Your own choice.
Your
Your
own
own
choice.
choice. Yes.
So for Yuèguāng, how do you approach the thematic of Yuèguāng, the moonlight, in your choreography?
For me, in my piece, Threads of Longing, Where Do They Lead? Is actually firstly inspired by the Chinese matchmaker, the Yuèguāng.
Oh.
Yeah, the Yuèguāng Qian Hong Xian. Yeah, who ties an invisible red thread between two lovers. So, but in this piece, it offers much broader experience. It's like human connection instead of just romantically relationship. Yeah, and it's not just the moon. Yeah, and then my movements always going back to the Tibetan dance characteristics because the Tibetan people are very spiritual. They believe in the moon and then they pray to the moon that please grant me wishes, blah blah blah, something like that. So that kind of visual of a bunch of girls who wishes something, but not just the relationship with others, something more broad, bigger, their future maybe. Yeah, this is
Why
how
Tibetan? Why specifically Tibetan?
This is interesting because the dancers, the 7 dancers, out of 7, there's 5 of them are my students in Aswara, and I teach them Tibet. Yeah, so I can feel that my style of dancing the Tibet dance, they can kind of similar to my style. So I really like that. But many of Chi Ying on stage to dance, to dance this,
many of Chi.
to perform this kind of style of Tibetan dance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my personal favorite, I guess.
Now, how about your piece?
So how I try to relate, when I was offered to be a part of it, I sort of panicked because I immediately had to, because there's a theme, so I have to choreograph based on the theme. And then I know I'm not well versed enough in Chinese mythical lore, so I tried to stray away from that because I didn't want to appropriate, right? So I went towards the more logic one. So what does the moon sort of affect? So that with that thought, I came up with waves. And then I looked at the pattern of waves, and then I reflected back to Chinese philosophies and Chinese dance and all that. So it's a thing that comes and goes. It's a thing that's repetitive. It's a cycle. It's a circular thing, which then I really played with repetitions and lines and whatnot. And also using what we all learn in Aswara about Chinese dance being the art of drawing circles. So I really tried to play a lot with that. And also with the stage being the way it was, I really wanted to try and portray waves, tidal waves in specific, but I didn't want it to be so literal. So that's how I approached it. And with dancers that are not very Chinese dance trained also, I didn't want to appropriate Chinese dance also. So there wasn't a specific Chinese dance that I used. Hence why I leaned towards the core of Chinese dance from what I learned, which was the art of drawing circles. So I tried to use a lot of circular movement and whatnot to depict the waves and all that.
That is very, very interesting in that way, because at least you approach it in very intellectual way rather than just like you say, using a Chinese element. Suddenly you use a fan that not related to the circular. Okay, for you though, Raziman, what was the most technically challenging for you in the production? Was there any?
Yes, how to mountain the rope on the wall. So this is the most challenging because you have to mountain it very tight. Otherwise, it's gonna rip off.
Oh, I thought it was handheld.
No.
Because I was so into the dance, I didn't see the end. You know,
Yeah.
Like, even I want to see the end, it's very susah because of the lighting.
Yeah. So they have to mount it because during our rehearsal, right, we never have experience with the actual mounted rope. We just use our imagination. It's totally different, you know. And then when the rope comes, like, how we want to overcome this challenging that we have.
So that was a Chi Hai's work.
Yeah, that was Chi Hai's work. So much choreography changing during that week itself, actually, based on the rope. But the outcome is very interesting. Yeah.
What about for your piece?
Yeah.
I think we have the same challenge because I'm using the red cloth as well. So all the dancers all tied together in one red cloth. And when one person push or pull, everyone move like that differently. So I found it very interesting. It's like everyone have different, we encounter the same problem, but we have different
reaction to it.
or solution to overcome. So same thing. But the thing is, dancers control. Not the rope. The rope is already there, but the cloth is like they bring it together and then they tie themselves so they can control the distance, the gang or loosen up a bit. Yeah.
So I think I think the moral of the story of this, you better rehearse with the actual props if you want to use it. Otherwise, it's totally
I'm
different.
sure you were rehearsing with the actor because yours is easier to manage than his because his need to be.
True. Just the meter really need to kira betul-betul lah, because different persons stand in the weight and all.
Whereas for yours is a bit more organic in that way, right? But is there any technical challenges in the production?
So I think mine, the challenge weighs more on the dancers because I really wanted to depict the wave, and generally waves comes from one source. So I really wanted the dancers to keep going in the same cycle. So the dancers don't patah balik. And the way that the mood of the choreography that I did, which was lines, circles and cycle, I wanted the mood to be really calm because I imagine looking at waves to be really calm. So that's what I want the audience to feel. So they had to remain calm until the very end, and then they had to sprint towards the back and then come back in remaining calm. That's one challenge. Other thing is the amount of manpower I can use. So like, let's say there's 3 people here. These 2 people have to run back before these 3 people end, and then they have to come in. So it's really just juggling that whole cycle for my piece.
That's I remember that now. Once you refresh my memory, because I say, wow, they're running, and suddenly they come up, wow, breathing. Like Kimberly's face, like, okay, I'm working now. You know, that was quite fun actually. For me though, how do you actually incorporate storytelling element in such a choreography, in such a performance?
Storytelling.
Elements.
I wouldn't
Is
say
there any?
I wouldn't say it's storytelling, but maybe just based on the legend itself. I just try to imagine how the 红线 will affect dancers' journey, movements. It's not really about storytelling. No. Yeah,
So it's more abstract.
Yeah, true. It's more ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, based on this piece, it's very abstract. Yeah, and then I don't really create a story, but I know where this piece are going. So it's different. If I do a full length piece, that's different. I will full with a script. I have a script writer to do everything. So I really follow based on the storytelling. So because in full length, people need to follow like where is this piece going? What is short piece like this? I know where it's going, and then I'm looking at the dynamic of the piece, like how it's going.
It sounds like yours is the same as well. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's similar. But then I really emphasize to them to always think about the image of the waves and also think about how it makes you feel or how it makes the general people feel when looking at the wave. So I really wanted them to sort of relate it personally and then try and translate it to the audience.
One more question. What do you consider to be your greatest strength as a dancer or choreographer?
I would say at the moment it's courage to take up the challenge, to say yes to production, say yes to keep creating things. Yeah, we don't limit yourself. Yeah.
Say yes to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, identity. My identity as a person, my identity as a choreographer, my identity as a dancer.
So for me, as a female dancer in the industry, I would like to say my strength and then as a person, I think my flexibility to work with. Yeah.
To work with any type of situation.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's wonderful to hear. That's all we have today. Congratulations once again to all the nominees, and thank you very much for sharing your creating process with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. I will see you guys next time.